What piece of Army equipment completely failed when you needed it most? Afghanistan, 2010. Helmand Province. Our unit got the newest piece of tech the Army was bragging about, the XM-25 airburst grenade launcher. Called it the Punisher, supposed to revolutionize infantry combat. This thing cost $35,000 per unit. Fired programmable 25mm rounds that could detonate at precise distances. Perfect for hitting enemies behind cover. The brass loved showing it off to reporters. We'd been pinned down for 6 hours by Taliban fighters in a compound. Traditional tactics weren't working. They had perfect defensive positions, thick walls, multiple escape routes. Perfect test case for our fancy new weapon. Staff Sergeant Davis carried the XM-25, trained on it for weeks at Benning, knew every specification, every procedure. Guy was a weapons expert with 15 years experience. This is it, he said, checking the targeting computer. Exactly what this thing was designed for. First shot loaded. Laser rangefinder locked onto the target building. Computer calculated trajectory, set the fuse timing. Everything by the book. Davis squeezed the trigger. Nothing. Dead silence. Display screen went black. Complete system failure at the worst possible moment. Taliban kept firing. We're taking heavy contact. Need immediate suppression. Davis tried rebooting the weapon. Error codes flashing. Software crashed harder than Windows Vista. Meanwhile, we're burning through ammunition. Radio chatter getting desperate. Need fire support on that building now. Davis switched to backup iron sights. Tried firing manually. Round detonated immediately after leaving the barrel. Nearly killed him. Shrapnel everywhere. Weapon completely destroyed. Turned out the targeting computer couldn't handle Afghan dust. Sand got into the electronics, fried the motherboard. 40 years of weapons development defeated by basic environmental conditions. We ended up calling in an airstrike. F-16 dropped a 500-pound bomb on the compound. Cost $20,000. Effectiveness 100%. No fancy computers required. After action report was classified, but word spread fast. Other units reported similar failures. XM-25 worked great in controlled environments. Real combat, useless paperweight. The investigation revealed dozens of problems. Software bugs, hardware vulnerabilities, inadequate environmental protection. Typical defense contractor rush job. Program got canceled in 2018. 8 years of development, $57 million in funding, 0 successful combat deployments. Greatest military innovation since sliced bread became expensive scrap metal. Davis went back to using his trusty M4 and 40mm grenade launcher. 30-year-old technology that actually worked when you pulled the trigger. The irony killed us. Pentagon spent millions developing smart weapons while we were still using Vietnam-era radios that barely functioned. Priorities completely backwards. That compound fight taught us everything about military procurement. Contractors promise miracles, deliver garbage. Soldiers pay the price when fancy gadgets fail. We started calling the XM-25 the Punisher for different reasons. It punished taxpayers with massive costs and soldiers with unreliable equipment. 6 months later, Taliban overran that same compound, used our own abandoned XM-25 units as propaganda props, posted videos online mocking American technology failures. The real kicker? They didn't even try to repair them, just used them as doorstops and paperweights. Even our enemies knew the weapons were junk. Davis made it home safely, thank God. Still complains about that day, says he'd rather carry a slingshot than another revolutionary weapon system. Now I work defense contracting. See the same patterns repeating. Overpromise capabilities, underdeliver performance, blame users when systems fail. Every time I see a new, game-changing military technology announcement, I think about Davis and that compound. Remember that wars are won by reliable equipment and competent soldiers, not flashy computers.